You're not denying that. I've
FBI
seen you time and time
don't
again
get reassigned.
attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical.
Booker came in swinging, not with facts, not even with evidence, but with accusations, conspiracy-level rhetoric, and emotional outbursts. He accused Patel of firing FBI officials purely for political reasons. That's how the left operates. They hurl accusation after accusation, hoping something sticks, and when it doesn't, they just yell louder. That's what Booker did today. This is the Prodigy Unfiltered.
Booker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, I want to start off where we left off last time. I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were confirmed.
And I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice...
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
there is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a transcript,
during
you can
your
read the
nomination,
question, but you don't have it.
You promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely false.
Have there been any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seized 6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have been arrested.
That FBI agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad, reassigned. People who defend children, reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to head the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir.
First, he tried to corner Patel about supposedly plotting with the Trump White House to purge disloyal FBI officials. Patel calmly said no. He had no such discussions. But Booker didn't like that answer, so he twisted it, implying that even talking about standards and accountability at the Bureau is somehow sinister. Think about how twisted that is. A director talking about holding people accountable is now considered political. That's how far the Democrats have drifted. They think loyalty to the Constitution and doing your job is dangerous if it doesn't serve their agenda. Then came the Mar-a-Lago nonsense. Booker demanded Patel reveal what he said to a grand jury about President Trump declassifying documents. Patel, correctly, refused to play that game. He said the transcript is the best evidence. And guess what? Booker knows full well Patel is legally allowed to discuss it if he wants, but he's under no obligation to play into a political circus during a public hearing. Booker didn't want the truth. He wanted a soundbite. But the most absurd part was when Booker launched into this dramatic tirade accusing Patel of generational destruction of the FBI. Spare me. The FBI's credibility didn't get destroyed in the last 8 months. It's been crumbling for decades under corrupt leadership and partisan weaponization. Where was Booker's outrage when the FBI was spying on a presidential campaign with fake dossiers? Where was this fire when whistleblowers exposed bias in investigations? Crickets. But now, because a Trump-aligned director is cleaning house and bringing accountability, suddenly it's the end of the world? Please. And here's the part they really don't want you to notice. They want an FBI focused on parents at school board meetings, on conservatives posting memes, on political opponents. And Patel? He's flipping that script, and they can't stand it. That's why Booker was yelling, because they're losing control. Let's also talk about Booker's theatrics, because this man lost it. He shouted. He talked over the chair. He even declared, "The people of New Jersey tell me my time is," as if he's some kind of king. That's not oversight. That's ego. And the irony? Booker accuses Patel of dividing the country, while he himself is screaming and grandstanding on live TV. It's embarrassing. And then Booker ends with this pathetic threat. I don't think you're going to be around long. Translation. We're coming for you because you don't bow to our agenda. That's how the left operates. If you don't bend the knee, they'll try to destroy you. But guess what? Trump's movement isn't about bending the knee. It's about standing tall for the Constitution, the rule of law, and the safety of the American people, and Patel is doing exactly that. So here's my takeaway as a patriot watching this circus. This hearing exposed the rot in Washington. It showed us how desperate Democrats are to control law enforcement and weaponize it against their enemies. It showed us that if you dare to challenge that system, if you dare to clean up the FBI and refocus it on real threats, they will smear you, shout you down, and try to take you out. But it also showed us something else. They're scared. They see the numbers. They see the results. They see that the America First agenda is working, and they're panicking. Kash Patel stood his ground today. He didn't back down, he didn't fold under pressure, and he hit back with results. That's leadership. And that's why the establishment hates him. Mark my words, This isn't the last time we'll see this kind of political theater. As Trump's movement gains ground, as the swamp gets drained, the noise is only going to get louder. But patriots, we see through it. We know what's really going on. Booker can yell all he wants. The facts don't lie. America is safer, criminals are being locked up, and for the first time in a long time, the FBI is starting to look like a law enforcement agency again, not a political weapon. And that's exactly why they're terrified. This is Prodigy Unfiltered. Like, share, subscribe, and stay in the fight. God bless America.